Stoicism, one of the most influential philosophical schools of thought from ancient Greece and Rome, offers a unique and profound perspective on love and intimacy. At its core, Stoicism is centered on the idea of achieving tranquility and wisdom by aligning oneself with nature, focusing on what can be controlled, and accepting what cannot. In this way, the Stoic approach to love and intimacy is not one of rejection or avoidance but one of understanding, moderation, and resilience. By adopting Stoic principles, love becomes less about emotional turmoil and more about rational engagement and the pursuit of virtue in relationships. Love and intimacy are integral parts of human life. They are sources of both joy and suffering. For Stoics, emotions like love are not inherently bad. However, they do pose challenges, especially when they lead to irrational desires, attachments, or dependencies. Stoicism teaches that emotions themselves are not to be feared or suppressed, but rather managed and understood through reason. In this regard, the Stoic perspective on love is rooted in the ability to maintain control over one's emotional responses. Love, like any other experience, is subject to the Stoic virtue of wisdom, which helps us make choices that are aligned with reason and the natural order. In Stoicism, the key to approaching love is not in denying its existence but in understanding its nature. The Stoics believed that love, like all emotions, arises from our judgments about the world. These judgments can either be accurate or flawed. For example, when we fall in love with someone, we may develop an intense attachment based on the belief that the person is essential to our happiness. This belief, according to Stoic thought, is misguided. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus reminds us that nothing outside of our own mind can truly control our happiness. To think otherwise is to give away our power to external forces. Therefore, the challenge is not to reject love but to cultivate a rational form of love that is free from unnecessary attachment and fear of loss. One of the most essential aspects of Stoic philosophy is the concept of amor fati, or the love of fate. This principle encourages individuals to embrace whatever happens in life, including the experiences of love and intimacy. Stoicism teaches us that everything in life, including love, is part of the natural order. Love is not something to resist but to accept as a part of the human experience. However, this acceptance does not mean we should lose ourselves in love or allow it to dominate our lives. Rather, the Stoic approach to love involves understanding that relationships are temporary, and that everything in life is subject to change. Therefore, when we enter into intimate relationships, we do so with the knowledge that the other person is not ours to possess, and that they, like everything else in life, will eventually change or pass away. The Stoic idea of love is closely tied to the concept of virtue, which is the highest good in Stoicism. Virtue is the only thing that is truly valuable and within our control. Therefore, love, in the Stoic sense, should be an expression of virtue. This means that love is not about possessing or controlling another person, but about seeking the good for both oneself and the other person. It involves treating the other person with kindness, fairness, and respect. Stoic love is based on mutual support in the pursuit of virtue and wisdom. In this way, love becomes a partnership in which both individuals are committed to helping each other live in accordance with reason and nature. For the Stoics, one of the primary challenges in love and intimacy is managing desire and attachment. Human beings are naturally inclined to desire those things which bring them pleasure, including the affection and companionship of others. However, Stoicism teaches that unchecked desire can lead to suffering, especially when it becomes a form of attachment. When we become attached to someone, we place our happiness and well-being in their hands, which makes us vulnerable to disappointment and pain. The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned that excessive attachment to others can lead to fear and anxiety, as we constantly worry about losing the things or people we love. In this sense, Stoicism advocates for a balanced and rational approach to love, one that acknowledges the value of relationships but does not allow them to dictate our emotional state. Stoics believe that true freedom comes from the ability to live without being enslaved by external circumstances, including relationships. This does not mean that Stoics advocate for emotional detachment or coldness in relationships. Rather, they emphasize the importance of cultivating inner strength and independence so that one's happiness does not depend on others. In relationships, this translates into a form of love that is free from clinging and possessiveness. Instead of being consumed by the fear of losing a loved one, a Stoic is able to appreciate and cherish the relationship while maintaining a sense of emotional stability. This emotional resilience allows one to remain centered even in the face of loss or disappointment, which are inevitable aspects of life. Another important aspect of Stoic philosophy is the distinction between what is in our control and what is not. According to Stoicism, we cannot control the actions or feelings of others, including those of our romantic partners. The only thing we can control is our own thoughts, actions, and reactions. This principle is particularly important in the context of love and intimacy because it helps us avoid the frustration and disappointment that can arise from trying to control or change others. Instead of seeking to mold our partners to fit our desires or expectations, the Stoic approach encourages us to accept them as they are and focus on our own behavior. This creates a healthier dynamic in which love is not about domination or control, but about mutual respect and understanding. In Stoicism, love is not something to be feared or rejected, but something to be understood and embraced with wisdom. Stoics recognize that love and intimacy can be sources of great joy and fulfillment, but they also acknowledge that they can bring pain and suffering if not approached with the right mindset. The Stoic approach to love is rooted in the idea of living in accordance with nature and reason. This means accepting love as part of the human experience, but not allowing it to consume or control us. Love, in its highest form, is a reflection of virtue and a commitment to helping each other grow in wisdom and character. One of the key challenges in love, from a Stoic perspective, is the balance between emotional engagement and rational detachment. Stoics do not advocate for complete emotional detachment, as this would go against the natural human experience of relationships. However, they do encourage individuals to cultivate a sense of emotional resilience, so that they are not overwhelmed by the ups and downs of romantic relationships. This resilience is not about shutting down emotions, but about understanding them and responding to them in a way that is aligned with reason and virtue. In this way, Stoic love is not about avoiding emotions, but about transforming them into something that supports a life of wisdom and tranquility. Another central theme in Stoic philosophy is the idea of impermanence. Everything in life, including relationships, is subject to change. People grow, change, and sometimes drift apart. In the Stoic approach to love, this impermanence is not something to be feared, but something to be accepted. By recognizing that relationships are temporary, Stoics are able to appreciate them more fully in the present moment without becoming overly attached to the idea of permanence. This perspective allows individuals to love more freely and authentically, without the fear of loss overshadowing the relationship. It also encourages a deeper sense of gratitude for the time and experiences shared with a loved one. In conclusion, the Stoic approach to love and intimacy is one of balance, wisdom, and acceptance. It recognizes the value of love and relationships as part of the human experience, but it also emphasizes the importance of maintaining emotional resilience and independence. For Stoics, love is not about possession or control, but about mutual respect, support, and the pursuit of virtue. It is about engaging in relationships with a clear understanding of the natural impermanence of life and the importance of living in accordance with reason. In this way, Stoicism offers a powerful framework for navigating the complexities of love and intimacy, allowing individuals to experience these emotions fully while maintaining a sense of inner peace and tranquility. Through Stoicism, love becomes not a source of suffering, but a path toward wisdom and self-mastery.